Hey, what's up, guys? This is Mike here, coming to you with your week of 5/31/21. So, week of May 31st coming into June weekly update. So, in this episode, I'll spend about a minute going over where to find all the information. We created some new channels. Then I'll probably spend 3 or 4, maybe 5 minutes reviewing the weekly update I gave you guys last week and how that played out. And then we'll go into the macro perspective this week on how it changed. And then we'll cover for those people more with holdings and altcoin holdings, Bitcoin holdings, maybe macro traders, giving you an update and strategy on plan on how to do it. And then I'll dive into all the trading and TA nerds, and I'll give you guys the more in-depth, confusing stuff, but more powerful tools on how to trade this intraday, going into the nitty-gritty. So first things first, as you guys will notice, there's a weekly plan section now. And what this does is, before I used to just post all the weekly plans in the crypto BTC and that got lost. So every single week, mostly on Sundays, you will get some fresh charts and a video like this, included going over the explainers. So a lot of these videos is a fresh look. So this is a fresh look at the weekly plan myself. So in the videos, you can always skip, but there might be a couple minutes of just, reflecting and thinking and strategizing, because a lot of this is I just, kind of looked at the charts and, we're kind of strategizing and going over this. And this is going over, the thought process and going into the mind of how I think about these things. So I will still copy paste everything onto the crypto BTC section, but for the intraday stuff, and the daily updates, look at the crypto BTC section, and this will give you fresh trades, updates on trades, on thoughts that I'm going through. So this is a new section that I've created. Crypto also, any altcoins, this is open to anybody else posting too. So if you guys have altcoins that you want to shill, questions, so if you want to request a chart for an altcoin, go ahead and request it. I'll post my analysis on it. And TA questions, member discussion, this is where you guys can go over stuff and request different coins and trades as well. So without further, one last thing is I have video modules. So still figuring out this whole video thing, but sooner or later I'll have all of my modules on technical analysis. So it will kind of be spread out between, I'll do a beginner video, then I'll do a intermediate/advanced video, then I'll go back to beginner and intermediate advanced, so that people of all levels can start to learn. If you do not understand some of the advanced stuff, go over the beginner stuff. If you have any questions, you could put them in members TA discussion, TA request. Some of the other members can answer them for you, or I'll answer them for you. But just make sure to go along and start learning some of this material. So a lot of this is very important to anybody from day trading to anybody that's long-term investing. You need to understand some of these topics. If you have more than $5,000 invested, right, you have to understand what your money is doing. And also profits and winning, feel free to put your winnings in here. Hey, let's get it. That's why we love shorts. So okay, let's start with what we talked about last week, right? So we had that crazy drop last week, and looking over the macro term. So full disclaimer here, Bitcoin does not have very many cycles, so there's not a big sample size to go off of, but history does rhyme, and you kind of have to look at what last cycles did to get your clue, even if you don't have a lot of cycles. So looking at Bitcoin's previous cycles, let me just pull up the chart here. So this is what I put last week, right? We had a massive pullback. We had an over 50% pullback in just 35 days, and this is nothing new to Bitcoin. So we've had quick little pullbacks. This one was, actually, let me pull up the full chart. Where did it go? Okay. So Bitcoin has had these quick pullbacks, 40, 30%. And you have a couple of other ones in here. Oops, wrong tool. This one was another 40% in a matter of 35 days. So you have these quick flash crashes on Bitcoin. This one was rather quick. So going off of previous cycles, the biggest reason why I don't think we're in a bear market is two things, right? And I talked about this last week, is all of the bear markets, you don't get these very quick flash crashes. They're very prolonged, so they go for about 85%, and they take well over a year. These quick pullbacks in bull markets, they're rather quick, and they happen within about 35 days. Um, this one was actually I had this one deleted. So this one I believe is most similar to what we have right now. 53%, 35% right here. So actually, this one was a little bit more than 35% top to bottom. It's about 40%. So, not perfect, but this one was a little bit more extreme, but we did go up faster than many of the other cycles in the past year. But the biggest thing I would say is previous bear markets. So here's what you have to understand about market makers and market dynamics, right? The big money do not give the little money much of a chance to get in positions. So, and here's what I mean, right? When you're at a top, it comes down very quick and you have a blow off top with a climax in volume. So look at this, climax in volume, climax in volume. You have a blow off top. It gets to the top and it comes back down very quick. It does not give many retail traders the opportunity to sell the top or short the top. Look at this here. So we were at the top for a good, let's see here. I would classify, the 60. So I would classify that 62K to 65K. So this would all be the top right here, within about 20%. So from start to finish, let me do this a little bit better here. So start to finish, you had 84 days. So you had 84 days to sell the top. It does not follow blow off top volume signatures. It does not follow, the timing of the blow off tops. So, we play a game of probabilities here. We don't like to say 100% this is what's happening. We give the likely probabilities. If we always trade off of likely scenarios that are 70 to 80% likely to happen, but have a reverse plan for the 20%. If we're wrong, then we can be very successful traders and investors here. But looking at these signatures, along with the Fibonacci time, right? So Bitcoin has been following roughly the same cycles in its infancy stages. But if we did a Fib time pull, it literally timed the top here within a couple of weeks, right? So we timed the last parabolic leg with the 1.618 extension to the 2 extension, which is the top. So right here, we're at the 1.618 extension. So roughly the time when we're set to actually have the last parabolic leg here, going into the 2 extension, right? So this is why I personally think, and again, don't 100% have your plans based off of what I think or the most probable scenario, have a backup plan. But the most probable scenario here is we have either bottomed or there's maybe a 10% chance we bottom around 24.5K. Not very likely, but there's a very good probability that we bottomed. And this includes, so my definition of bottoming includes one of these swing failures. We just literally grab all the liquidity below the low and shoot back up. I will classify that as a bottom. So this range here, I would say there's a 70% chance that we have bottomed right here and the top of the bull market. I don't want to give any targets, but I think we still go to at least 100K, and that ends in January. Or if we look at the last cycle, the top ended right before the Fib time pivot. So I would say maybe end of December again, early January is where we top out. Somewhere in this range. Is it out of the question that we go to the 200K range? No. But this is not one of those times to go all moon 100x to 200K. Have trades open to where we're ready and for 200 grand. But yeah, I wouldn't just blindly trade that. So that's where we are in the cycle. You know, if you go back and read my post from last week, this outlines it right here. Going over to everything else that I posted last week too. Another reason why I think we may have bottomed, if you did a fib pull from the last impulse, we have hit the, you know, the 6-6 extension almost to the dollar. So we're in the golden pocket right here, or the, sorry, not the extension, the retracement right here. You know, last week when we were coming down, this was immediate continuation. We were in a downward channel all the way from, you know, where we shorted at 59K. We're no longer in this channel, and we, you know, we bounced up and we're hovering around here. So a lot of bullish signs, but you know, this was the plan from last week. This was an important read right here because you know, as I was saying, you know, every single week I say if you have any crypto holdings or you're not hedged, make sure you have hedges. I can't stress how important it is. Although I do think we're going up, we're still currently in a range. And on the off chance that we go down and you don't have any shorts or hedges, your portfolio is going to get wrecked. There's no two ways about it. And if we go down and spring back up, you're more likely to panic sell the bottom. So this was the plan that I laid out for levels to the upside. We believe we had about an $800 bounce right here. We had about a $1,000 bounce right here, and this $40,500 mark, which later, this is why this is important. I added 2 more levels of confluence. There we go, right here, right? So given these 2 short, this was also the inverse head and shoulders where people got wrecked. So that should have been more than enough confluence to take hedges. Okay, to take hedges, because this 40,500 level, this was actually a top for us to, we got 2 short entries right here. So this was literally, you know, if you follow along, this short at the top, it was also the 382 extension, and you know, you would have been shorting the top perfectly. Sorry, I had to pause there. So this is why it's so important to pay attention to these weekly updates, because as we approach the top of the range to this red box right here, this was literally the top of the last move, right? So I'll talk about this more, but we're still in a range environment, and what people want to do is they want to FOMO in at the top and they want to panic sell at the bottom. You do not want to do that. So if you're an altcoin holder, this is what you want to do, right? As we start getting towards the top of the range, this is where you start scaling out of altcoins. And, you know, this is where you start, you know, picking up shorts as well to hedge. When you come to the bottom of the range, this is where you pick some up or close your shorts or take longs. And I'll go over that more in detail, and I'll show you the range on how to do it later. But this is so important on why I tell people every single week to take the shorts. And here's why, right? So if you hold a big bag of Bitcoin and altcoins, right? If you miss a long trade and Bitcoin goes up, your whole portfolio just went up. So missing long trades, I mean, yeah, look, if you time a good long trade, you make more money, you compound your money, phenomenal. But if you miss a long trade, it's not the end of the world because your portfolio still goes up. If you miss a short trade and Bitcoin comes down, now you're screwed. Your whole portfolio goes down. If you're hedged, depending on how big your trading account is, you either make money on the way down, or compared to your whole entire portfolio, at least your hedge, you know, makes up for the loss of your altcoins. And when your altcoins and the rest of your Bitcoin bags rebound, you make some money. So same thing up here with you know, with 60K. I'll show you guys when this was posted. So this trade right here, right? If you caught this trade on the way down, I was posting this in the group. You had 1, 2, 3, 4 entries. You know, you're rolling in on the way down. If you missed it, this is the only people that were panicking because you know, your whole altcoin bags just got demolished. Anyway, so I'll talk about more what to do about altcoins, but we're still in a range bound environment right now, right? So update from, you know, last week, we hit the range top. we came down, we did not sweep the lows, and we're just bouncing around. And we had some nice shorts in here, some scalping that we did. Okay, so this was your signal to short right here to counter trade the inverse head and shoulders. Bam, got the first good trade. Okay, then we actually took a long, took it back up, and then we actually had a second short trade somewhere in here. Yep, came back. Yep, came back, tagged the box. So if you follow if you pay attention to the post and you were paying attention to last week's update, you had 2 successful short entries, and the rest is history. Came all the way back down. So I won't go over that much more. So that was the trading plan from last week. Also mentioned that we were very likely to be in a range bound environment last week, and exactly as I said. So before I gave the update, we were somewhere right here, right? 23rd of May. Yeah, we were right here. We had just bounced when I gave the update. I said after a big move like that, we're likely to range. Even up to months on end, and just bore the crap out of people before we make our next big move. But you always want to short the top of the range, long the bottom of the range. And exactly what happened. If you short the top of the range, you had nice trades coming down. If you long the bottom of the range, this was weekend action, so I didn't trade a whole lot, but we had 2 nice long scalps coming up to the middle of the range. So now we're in the middle of the range. This is the hardest to trade zone, but let's go over more of the material as planned. So higher term time frame on a weekly perspective. Let's go zoom out, right? So these are weekly candles. So look at that. Although the recent price action does not look good, but on a weekly basis, what does that look like to you? Right, we're still trending up. So we're still overall, or let's look at a monthly perspective, right? So maybe that puts it in a perspective for you. But we did crash down quite a bit. But from a monthly perspective, we're still, looks like we're going to the moon, right? So this is the zoomed out perspective. So it's always nice to put things in perspective. Although we did crash, we were at 4K a little over a year ago. So does that mean 100x portfolio and sell everything now long Bitcoin altcoins? No, but just to put into perspective, we're still up almost 1,000% in 441 days. That's pretty good. I mean, 392 days up 1,800%. That's unhealthy. This is healthier. It's still, when you look at grand scheme of things compared to other assets, this is still insane gains, but I would say this is a very, very healthy correction. So that's the zoomed out view. It's always nice to zoom out and just have an overall view of it. This chart is posted, so these are the weekly, daily, and monthly closes we're likely to get reactions off of. Keep those on your charts. Naked border controls, you don't have to know what they mean right now. I will do a module, but just know they're very likely to get a reaction the first time that they're hit. So very, very scalpable on an intraday perspective. So here's my swing long idea, right? So as I mentioned, we are very likely to have bottomed out. Okay. Let me put this on right here. So we're very likely to have bottomed out. Does that mean we don't plan for further downside? No. And I would say if there's quite a few levels of confluence down here, right? By the way, you can also open these, and I just keep a lot of these tabs open. so you can just have all the levels on your computer, right? So does that mean we don't have a plan to the downside? No. So what I would say is this, right? If we crash down to, I would say mid 24K is my next biggest target. What I would say is two things, right? If we find support here, this would be a gift of the long. And as you can see, I have this going to all-time highs, possibly even 100K. If we do not hold, so if we do one of these, let me get my chart. Okay. If we do one of these, come down, grab liquidity, kind of like what happened here, but we get continuation, up. This is very bullish. And if we smash 50K like this, I would say, we're going parabolic until the end of the year. With, we can still, in context, we could still have 40% pullbacks after we hit, 70, 80K, right? So if we start doing one of these and we just slowly grind down, this is more concerning because then the level likelihood of this holding is a lot less likely. And what I will say, full disclaimer, I am not saying this is very likely, but if we do see this break back below, back test it, start trending down, I think we're going to see a 9K Bitcoin again in the not too distant future. And again, I would give this maybe a 5% chance of happening, maybe even less. But just keep an eye out for this. And this is if we approach this level, right? I'm not saying 100% we're going to approach this level. There's a very low percentage that we're going to hold this level. Me personally, I'm going to put in some very low leveraged longs all in this region and hope to catch a wick down here with stop losses. You want your stops above 20K. What I would say is this, right? If we start coming down here slowly, back testing it, if we break 20K again, this is a change of behavior. On bull markets, we have never broken down below the all-time high on the next parabolic phase, right? On the next bull cycle. After, so the bottom of the next bear cycle has never broken below the top of a all-time high breakout, right? So what I would say is, if you think this scenario is likely to happen, be careful with your altcoins. Make sure you're in massive short positions. Trading accounts, probably switch to US Tether, but if we start doing some of this, break 20K, we're coming down to the point of control 9K, possibly even lower. So again, I don't look for that to happen. I think if we come down here, the most likely scenario is we get a quick drop, boom, we just take off. So that's my swing long idea. I don't think, kind of beating a dead horse, but I wouldn't bank on this 100%. You might be waiting for this forever. So, but we do have a lot of confluence down here. We have a daily level. We have, let me pull this back up. Okay, we have a weekly level. We have your golden pocket, and we have a major naked border control down here. The only problem is I have a very wide region because we do have a couple of levels of support and confluence. But neither, it's not like any one of them are super strong. So they're all, I would classify them as weaker points of influence. And, and they're all clustered pretty close together, but not super close, if that makes sense. So that's the swing long idea. Swing short idea. So this is what I'm thinking for swing shorts if we come up here. So like I said, we're in a range, and I'll go over current price action right now, but if, so short idea, okay, if we start coming up to, we have a pretty strong naked point of control at 48K. If we start coming up here, so remember how we were coming up here, and everybody was getting bullish, and I had a short position, or short trade idea, swing short rather, and I kept telling everybody to short. And even when we passed this 6.6, this was on weekend volume, and I was telling everybody, Like, yes, we bounced and people are getting very bullish, but this is a classic bull trap territory, right? Take your shorts, take your hedges, and we came down. Similarly here, these two right here are the same equivalent to this bull trap territory right here. So what I would say is, if we start breaking up here to 50K, there's a there's a possibility we just break through to new all-time highs. But I would say at the very least, take a low leverage short position or take a few in case we do one of these, and then we come back down to, where is it, 23K, and go back up. So that's the swing short trade ideas as we approach these levels. So keep these two on your charts. Keep the swing long, swing shorts. These could take months to play out, but just be aware of them for now. And not to beat a dead horse here, but if you guys have altcoins and we come up here to these short areas, it would be very wise to start taking some profits on your altcoins. And even if it's just 10, 20, 30% profits on your altcoins, because if we clear this region, we can still go back up. You can still buy back in on a pullback, right? But if we come down, you could lose massive amounts on your altcoins. To give you guys a perspective, where is, okay, this is the Bitcoin dominance chart, right? So as a general rule of thumb, if you have altcoins or just Bitcoin holdings, in swing long areas are good areas to accumulate. Swing short areas are good areas to take profit on, right? So let me show you guys something here. In a bear market, this is what happens to the Bitcoin dominance, right? So Bitcoin dominance doubled, went up 104%, and altcoins generally, okay, so think about this, right? Bitcoin compared to altcoins doubled, okay? And Bitcoin dropped 84%. So you do the math. What happened to altcoins in the bear market, right? You have pretty much every single altcoin is lost about 93, 94%. Some just never came back, right? So you talk about pretty much 100%. They go to one Satoshi. Conversely, actually I'll talk more about this later, kind of jumping all over the place, but 30% pump from Bitcoin dominance, from the pump to 10 to 40K, right? In this last Bitcoin drop, we had a 22% increase in Bitcoin dominance compared to altcoins. So here's what I would say: if you have altcoins, just keep in mind, when Bitcoin pumps very hard, altcoins drop compared to Bitcoin. When Bitcoin dumps very hard, altcoins drop compared to Bitcoin. The only time altcoin does well is in a range. Look at that. Since the dump, we've been in a range. Bitcoin dominance has come down. Altcoin has done better, right? So that's okay. All right, sorry guys, keep having to go to the bathroom. So if you, let's say if you invert the scale right here, as you can see, when this chart goes up, inverted scale, altcoins do better. When it goes down, altcoins do worse. So as you can see, altcoins, they have a pretty bad time when Bitcoin starts to move, and Bitcoin has massive range. We're actually at the all-time high of altcoin dominance, if you want to think about it. We're near the all-time high, so we're actually due for a pullback here. But when Bitcoin goes parabolic again, to the upside or downside, you expect to see something like this back up. So okay, so I'll talk more about altcoins a little bit later, but let's see here. Okay, so this is the swing shorts. Okay, we went over this. So, and this is important from last week. So this is another big reason why I think we bottomed. So so I was calling for that $31,000 mark. We hit the 30,000, but it overshot a little bit. So we were at the value area low of this previous consolidation range. Plus we had the impulse golden pocket retrace. We had another couple of factors too. But just going into why I call some of these downside targets. There's a rhyme and reason for all of it. So let me actually show you guys. Did I put it here? Okay. So we were up here, and this is another reason for the 31K target. I always like to give it a front run because it'll just blast through. So 30K was the 1.618 extension. And also, if you guys remember, actually called the time of the bottom of this drop within 4 hours. So fib time. So this leads me to my next point. So remember, last time I gave a target of 30K, sorry, 31K. We were still somewhere up here, right? So I was calling for 31K around this time. So that it happened almost exactly to to the T right here, right? So that's when you trade probabilities, sometimes that crystal ball stuff comes out. So the next post on here, this one's very important to pay attention to. So the power of Fibonacci time. So there's a complex theory behind this, but long story short, moves tend to take the same amount of time, right? So if you look at, I think I have this pulled up in my charts, okay? So if you look at the Fibonacci time pivots, the one called the low of this little bounce from, this was the 46 to 59K. So this was a $12,000 bounce. Not bad. Then it called the low of this drop right here. Actually had another $12,000 bounce. Not bad. So this was the one. So this was the one. This is the 3 pivot, and the 5 pivot comes on the 11th of June. So where are we now? 11th of June. So end of next week, which weekends always make me hesitant. So that's why I give it a little bit of time, because weekend price action, most of the big players are not playing. So it makes me a little bit hesitant to have a top or a bottom call. But if you'll notice, this is my swing short position. I mean, my swing long position all the way down at the 24Ks. This needs to be moved up a little bit. There we go. And this is the swing short positions that coincide with, it's just these two right here on the same chart, right? So, going over probabilities, so the power of Fibonacci time is it allows you to have a high probability of when a move is going to happen, but it does not tell you the direction, right? So I think it's pretty likely that we look for a move on this Fibonacci time pivot, and there's a good probability that whichever direction it goes creates a top or bottom. So for example, if we come down to do one of these or whatever, it looks like a middle finger. If we do one of these and come down here around this time somewhere, I would be very comfortable with taking a long, and that's not meant to look like a Illuminati eyeball. Same thing, if we come up here, if we blast through, that's one thing. But if we start coming up here and doing one of these, I'd be very comfortable to take a swing short and look for one of these. Maybe down to this. I wouldn't see, that's not completely out of the picture as well. I'm sorry. And actually what's interesting is this could happen on the 7 pivot, which is, it's probably 6, 7, so probably somewhere right here, right? Excuse my crude squiggly lines, but a lot of times they do work. So long story short, you got to be thinking to yourself, if you're looking for a swing trade, or if you have altcoin and Bitcoin bags, if we approach this area at this time, you got to be thinking about taking profits or hedging yourself heavily. And here's the thing: if you take profits or you hedge and we go up, you didn't lose anything, right? There's a bit of opportunity cost, but if we smash through 60K, we're likely to keep going up. Or if we bounce around here and find this as support and keep going up, because the most likely, if this is the top, we're probably going to wick into it. Same thing with the bottom, probably going to wick into it. So if this happens around the 11th of July, or a couple of days before, a couple of days after, so that week, coming into next week, you got to be thinking to yourself, shorts, take profits off alts. I would be in heavy downside alt protection because I showed you what happened to altcoins and Bitcoin dominance. If Bitcoin does one of these, your alts are going to go down probably 80%, just so you know, from its all-time highs, right? And same thing with, if we do one of these, we start coming down around this time, I would say this is not the time to panic sell your Bitcoin. And if you have taken profits at the top of the range, like I'll teach you a little bit later, this is the time to reaccumulate, most likely, right? 80% chance. So this is not the time to panic sell. The time to get out, if you haven't got out, is if we start doing one of these and back test, then we're probably heading back down to the 9K targets like we talked about earlier. 9K, 10K. There's a lot of big support at 10K. But this is the long-term plan and the Fibonacci time pivot. Definitely keep this on your charts. This has been very powerful here. So that leads me to this next point. So as I mentioned, we're still in a range. So this is our plan for the immediate short term. This is the updated volume. And the way you do this on TradingView is very simple. Okay, you go here, which I don't know where these are because I have them on favorites. Fixed range. But we're looking for the symbol. And of course I can't find it while we're recording. Oh, fixed range. There we go. So take this fixed range, okay, and you go over to the last range. So this is where we've been range bound. So this is where you do the pull. If you just want to know what happened in the range right here, this is what you do with fixed range. Very powerful tool, right? So I have it in my my favorites bar. So let me hide this trend line and parallel channel. So we're in a fixed range, which is this chart that I've shown you. So we're very likely to spend most of the time while we're still ranging within the value area high and the value area low. The point of control being the midpoint, which it rejects. So as you can see here, once we're around the value area high, at the time, actually, this was the point of control, rejected, came back down, came back, swept the value area low, and then it's been staying above the point of control. Now it's staying below the point of control, right? So, okay, one thing I will note is the point of control as of yesterday was still above at the overall point of control was still above at 38. Now it has shifted down to where we are right now, which is probably why we're seeing a rejection. So in general, this is super important because when you're in a range, Bitcoin does not like to, so if we're in a range, right, it's very unlikely that Bitcoin's exactly going to tap the top of the range, come down to the bottom of the range, tap the bottom, come up to the top, right? That would give every single trader the easiest trades in the world. It likes to stay within the value areas. So when you're approaching the value area high, this is time to look for shorts. When you're approaching the value area low, time to look for longs. So if you are in any kind of crypto holdings as we approach the value area high, this is the time to pay attention and look for shorts, right? Again, hedge, take profits on your altcoins. If you have questions on specific altcoins, I can give you targets, I can give you charts. But this is the time to pay attention more than here, right? Because again, beating a dead horse, if you don't hedge when we come up to the range high and we come down, your portfolio gets wrecked. If you don't long while we're at the bottom of the range and it comes up, you still make money, right? So this is the value areas. Keep very close attention to these levels. My daily updates will play around these levels quite a bit. So the other big thing is this, right? So now we're getting into shorter time frame stuff. So the macro stuff is kind of done. Long story short, I think we're still going up with a potential 24K drop. So we've been in this range, right? Top of the range, bottom of the range. Like I said, it's very, after we form this range, touch. This was a SR flip right here. It's very, very unlikely that Bitcoin just does one of these. Right, where's my drawing tool? It's never gonna go, oh, let me give you a long position all the way up to the top of the range, short position. Okay, let me come down again. Let me give you another long. Let me give you another short. Let me give you, like, it'll never do this, right? It stays within the value areas. And probably everybody and their mom has seen this by now, but we're in this range for almost 2 weeks now. So this range is actually mature. So now's the time to pay attention because we could be breaking out anytime. We're in this symmetrical triangle, which it's a textbook triangle, to statistically likely for a 50-50 breakout. I would say that we've been spending a lot more time above the 50% line here. So we're in this posturing, we're actually a little bit likely to break down, but I'll share something else interesting about that later. So we're in a symmetrical triangle, right? So here's what I would say about the symmetrical triangle. So your average textbook traders will say, here's the, here's a triangle. Here's your measured move. If it breaks up, let's say if it breaks up here, this is where you long 51K, right? You clear the triangle and you go 100x long. Or here, clear the triangle, you go 100x short. So, what I would say is two things, right? As we approach the top of this value areas or the top of the triangle now, which is now coming in around 39K, or bottom of the triangle, probably 34K. As we approach the top, we look for shorts. We look to scale out of our take profits on alts and whatnot, or Bitcoin holdings. When we come down, we look for longs, right? And we look to scale back into altcoins. Because here's the funniest thing to me, but psychologically, we're driven to do this as humans and newer traders, right? Price comes down, everybody FOMO sells because there's so much fear, right? Then price comes up, and then you panic, and then you FOMO buy, right? And the price came down, so many people FOMO sold right here, and so many people, not FOMO sold, panic sold. So many people FOMO bought right here. People were panic selling again. And then another nice thing that I do, kind of off topic, but it works. If you just peruse YouTube and you look at the market sentiment while we're at the bottom of the range, it's a problem. That's a long signal, right? I posted this in the group the other day, and it's kind of funny, but it's true, right? So we're at the bottom of the range. Bitcoin double death cross happening today, urgent. This was your long signal. We didn't need my levels. This was your long signal. I'm joking, but if you just peruse around the sentiment, because the average trader, 95% of traders get wrecked, right? So the average sentiment. Now, if we were doing this and the sentiment was negative, like, yeah, there's still another drop, but we're out of the market structure of lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. I mean, we're still forming lower highs, but we did form some higher highs in the in the short term. So this is still overall bearish, but in the short term, we've just formed a neutral pattern. So this is very neutral right now, right? So what's funny is we're in a neutral pattern. And this is not to put anybody down or make fun of anybody, but if you think about it from my perspective, or this is why we say short at the top of the range, long at the bottom of the range. So the people were like, "Oh my God, we're approaching the bottom of a neutral pattern. Let's panic sell, right? Wrecked." But this is, and all jokes aside, this is why I personally love trading environments, because similarly to what we're doing right here, when we're in a range. Okay. I was telling everybody to short up here, long up here, right? So at this point, we also had a long from down here too. But at this point, we had accumulated many shorts from up here. Okay. that were risk-free now. We had accumulated longs from down here that were risk-free. So what ends up happening is Bitcoin breaks up, all of these trades are winning. If Bitcoin breaks down, all of these trades are winning. So if Bitcoin breaks up, we've already taken profits on shorts, stop loss at entry. The rest of these trades break even, no loss, all gains on the longs. Same thing with this, right? We have the shorts. So if we come down here, all the longs we've taken profits on, stop loss at entry, no loss on these, all profits on these. So this is why, so people get so bored in range bound environments. I love range bound environments because here I still have some of the shorts from up here, let's be honest. We've accumulated a short here, we've accumulated shorts here. I personally took some shorts here and closed them out, but we have shorts from the top of the range, right? I caught this long right here. Some people may have caught this long. I personally missed this one at church, which I'm perfectly fine with. And then we caught some longs right here, right? And if it comes down, we look to long, we look to short, okay? So in this scenario, so we have shorts from over here, we have longs from over here, right? If Bitcoin breaks down, all these trades win, okay? Bitcoin breaks up, these trades win. So it's a win-win scenario. And the longer, so people get very upset and bored when we're in a range. So we've accumulated a few trades from longs and few shorts, right? If Bitcoin does this, okay, now we get 4 or 5 shorts, so we get 4 or 5 longs that are all paid for, risk-free, taking profits on, winning trades. By the time the range breaks, if we have more time in this channel, in this range, we have more longs and more shorts, that's just a more breakout profit, right? That's the way I like to trade breakouts personally, is to accumulate shorts and longs from the top and the bottom of the range. Because here's the problem if you breakout trade, right? If you were looking to breakout trade a short, right, like as it was coming down and everybody was getting fearful, instead of shorting up here, if you breakout trade this, you're like, okay, it broke this last low, that's 100x short, came right back, you got wrecked. If you try to break out long, you're thinking, okay, Bitcoin has revisited the shorts, now we're bouncing, altcoins are bouncing, and you're like, okay, this high, breakout long right here, or this was actually the head and shoulders pattern, or inverse head and shoulders, you get wrecked. So breakout traders, breakout traders, you want to trade right here. So let's do the math right here, right? Breakout traders, breakout shorts, you want to trade right here, okay? And you want to trade right here, okay? But let's look at how many trades you would have lost. So breakout trades, okay? So starting right here, you're here, breakout trader, 1 losing trade. Okay, break out of this trade, 2 losing trades, 3 losing trades, 4 losing trades, okay? So you have 4 losing trades, finally 1 good winning trade, then you have another good winning trade, and then break out this right here, oh my god, it's breaking down, 1 losing trade, 2 losing trades, 3, 4 losing trades, right? Same with breakout longs. I'd rather long the bottom of the range, but if you break out long, you would have had some winning trades back here, okay? But if you break out long right here, okay, you get 1 good winning trade, and then now, and here's the other thing, where's your invalidation and stop loss, right? Because, Bitcoin loves to do the thing where, it comes, it breaks up, comes back down, breaks up again, right? So if you were breaking out long, wrecked 1, wrecked 2, wrecked 3, wrecked 4, and then, you're wrecked really hard again, and then, you come up here, wrecked. Breakout long traders have been just, you don't want to break out long trade in a downward pattern like that. So with that being said, I would not trade the textbook pattern of this symmetrical triangle break. Not very good probability, because what Bitcoin loves to do is, now you have a lot of eyes on this because this is the most obvious pattern. But what I would say is now all the interwebs are probably going to be talking about the symmetrical triangle, measured moves, breakout of this, back test. So what Bitcoin likes to do is if it fakes, if it wants to go up, it's probably going to do one of these fake outs. And this is your textbook back test, okay? And then boom, 50K. And all your shorters get wrecked. So if you're taking longs down here as it drops, that's your good trade. Same thing up here, if it comes up, breaks it, back test, all of your breakout traders like, oh my god, this is going to 100K, wrecked, down to 24K, right? So I would be very careful with breakout trading patterns like this. But just recognize we're in the range. Although we are getting mature, we're in a week and a half. I would say the longer we stay in this range, the more opportunities we have to accumulate. But look out for, what was that June 11th date that I mentioned. Pay close attention to that. Be in front of your computers. But this is just the range that we're in. And again, to reiterate, altcoins top of the range. And this is not nothing personal against anybody, but this happens all the time, right? So when we get down here, everybody asks if we should sell. When we get up here, or better yet, this is when I got the most questions on if we should buy. People are like, should we buy? Should we buy? Should we buy? Should we buy? Nothing personal, just learning experience. This is when you should be looking to take profits and short, to be honest. This is when you should be looking to buy, right? So it's a matter of flipping that psychology around. Of course, you have to have your stop losses. You have to have your risk management, because if you've been following our trades, we have over 80% win rate, right? But let's say on this drop, there was a long somewhere over here because we're coming down to the bottom of the range. You would have lost your whole account right here, right? Same thing with shorting. If you're shorting this, the top of the range, and then it goes to all-time highs, and you don't have the stop loss, you just lost all of your account. So I think that about wraps it up. Let me see if there's anything I can find on the volume profile. So let's take a look here. Hourly neutral. Yesterday this was getting pretty bearish right here on the volume. This is fairly neutral. A lot of longs getting squeezed. You got shorts open up. Shorts getting squeezed. Shorts open up. Short squeeze again. Nothing crazy here. Let's go 12 days. I think that's about that. Pretty balanced, actually. A little bit more volume. Once you get down here, all your volume tails off. So below the 33K, there's really no support. So we could really see one of these. I would see this as a nice opportunity too. A lot of people logically have their stop losses below here. So, there could be a liquidity grab. I don't think we'll come down to 20. So here's the thing, right? 28K is such a big level. I think we either will never hit it or we're smashed right through, right? If you have enough people talking about a level, the market makers aren't going to respect that level at all. That's another, game theory point that I'll talk about another time. But that about wraps it up. To summarize, at the moment, we're still neutral. Trade the range. These are actually the most golden opportunities. These are the best, in my opinion, the easiest trading environments. On this, today's still weekend volume, so just be careful with wider stops, smaller position sizes, because Bitcoin doesn't like to respect the technicals as much on weekends, because there's a lot more smaller players playing, not as many bigger players. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask in the group right here to get questions. If anybody's seeing this video and for whatever reason you're not in the group, we go to ninjasignals.trade to join the group. Although this video is just for the group, so let me see if there's anything else that I needed to talk about. So again, beating a dead horse, be careful with your altcoins. What I would say with your Bitcoin and altcoin holding portfolio, at this posturing, although we're more likely to the upside, we're more likely to go to the upside, right? If we do break down below 24, 23K, this is a massive change of behavior from previous cycles, and there could be a lot of potential for getting your altcoins wrecked. So, although I think that we go up from here, I would still be in downside protection mode for your alts. So what that means is opening up a Bybit account, putting short positions in, taking profits on your short positions. On your long positions on your Bitcoin holdings, on your altcoin holdings at the top of the range, and look to buy back towards the bottom of the range because although we're pretty mature, I do think we get this for at least another couple of days. And then what's even funnier is we might even get one of these fake out right back in the range. So or fake out right back in the range. So that wouldn't surprise me. Sorry, that wouldn't nasty burp. That wouldn't surprise me either. So with that being said, let's crush it. Let's have another great week. I will publish this later, but this is how we are doing on the month of May. Not bad, not bad. So I don't know what that is. So pretty crazy month. And you know why this is? Because look at this. Short 58K, short 58K, short 59K, short 59K, short 58K. Short, this was coming up to the top of the range. That's where we got the bulk of our pips from because we were shorting the top of the range. And look at that, long at the time, bottom of the range, long bottom of the range, made some pips, break stop loss at break even. So we actually have 2 losses. So look at this. We have a 94% win rate, but actually this one wouldn't have wrecked you, but this trade would have long scalp at 40,800. That would have wrecked you. So one trade could wreck you. Use proper risk management, stop losses. So other than that, we're going live at Thursday at 2 p.m. for a live trading session. If there's any setups that are mentioned, any setups that are approaching on stream, Zoom link is in the group. We'll take some live trades together. If not, I'll just go over concepts. Last week was Fibonacci. Maybe I'll go over volume profiles because this is one of the most powerful tools right here. So all right, guys. Other than that, look for other updates in the group, in the Crypto BTC. We've been absolutely crushing it. I mean, most of these green boxes are just gold. Look at that. Green box, $2,000 bounce, green box. I think we had another $2,000 bounce right there. Bam. Calling stuff. Look at that. Calling stuff to the T. When we're up here, I was like, pivot's gonna get filled, right? It's like a week later. Where'd it go? Yeah, it got filled. Anyways, alright guys, I'm just rambling on. I'll do these haven't been doing these videos a lot, but hey, let's crush it. Have a great week. I'll see you guys in the Discord. And any questions, let me know.